Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be comparing the new Toyota Tacoma to the Nissan Frontier. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garf Nissan here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this Frontier. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions, just ask for Paul. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering the Tacoma is a turbo 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It puts out 278 horsepower and then 317 pound-feet of torque. So same horsepower as the V6 Tacoma, just has more torque and 2 more gears. Now the Frontier naturally aspirated 3.8 liter V6 goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission, 310 horsepower and then 281 pound-feet of torque. So the Frontier has more horsepower but then less torque when you compare it to the Tacoma. Fuel economy is similar with both of them, right around that 20 mile per gallon range. Anyways, with the front ends of both of the trucks, you guys can see they both kind of have an aggressive style to them. The Tacoma looks like a miniaturized Tundra, whereas the Frontier kind of looks like a miniaturized Titan. It's very interesting to see both of them next to each other. But you've got the fog lights there at the bottom, and overall I think they did a good job with the style in the Tacoma, and same thing with the Frontier. I think the Frontier looks really sharp, especially with like the daytime running lights, and then I like how this one has a decal on the hood. I thought that was pretty cool. You got tow hooks there on the front ends. But yeah, overall I think both of them, like I said, look sharp. And then when it comes to wheels, the Tacoma now has 18-inch wheels, which is crazy because 16s with the previous gen on a lot of the trucks. And they got these big like body painted fender flares now. And then you can see like limited badge. Do have power side steps, which is a nice feature. But overall, I think the side profile of the Tacoma looks sharp, if you ask me. And then with the Frontier, you can see slightly smaller wheels are 17s, if I remember properly. So yeah, a little bit smaller, allows for a little more sidewall with the tires. No fender flares, just kind of bigger fenders with the Frontier. And they got fixed side steps. Again, a little bit more on the old school side of things with the Frontier. And then there's your full side profile. Now, something to note, the Frontier uses leaf springs, whereas the new Tacoma uses a coil spring setup now. Now, when it comes to the bed of the Frontier, you can see you've got protection here on the tailgates also for the bed as well in the form of bed liner. Got an outlet here, and then also we got these nice cargo sliders all throughout, and then LED lights in the bed on top of that. And lifting this up, it's pretty dang light. And then popping over the Tacoma, we've got a composite bed with this LED lights as well. Got an outlet, so similar features with them. And then the Tacoma's an automatic tailgate, so I just gotta reach all the way down. Wait, there we go. Press the button and it'll raise up. Anyways, finishing things up with the rest of the rear, you can see the taillights here on the Frontier. Pretty cool. Got the Frontier logo down below. Got the kick step below that as well. And then with the Tacoma, I'd say that the Tacoma has very similar design. I mean, look at the back ends of them. Very similar with even the body lines too. But look at the exhaust tip with the Tacoma. It is massive and pokes out the side. Now in the back of the Frontier, my feet are kind of pushed up, or my legs rather are kind of pushed up a little bit. But yeah, foot room's pretty solid. Then you got these nice seats here on the Frontier SL, and then headroom back here, it's good. And if you're wondering with the door panel, you got nice soft touch trim and then good storage. Oh, and I almost forgot, the window here is manual with the opening. Now in the Tacoma, my legs are pushed up about as much, but you guys can see there's a little bit less space there between me and the front seat. And then you got some charging ports down below. And then notice the center of the seat's all perforated with the trim. And then I do like the door panel trim here, especially like the little wood trim insert there. I think that's nice. And then headroom back here, it's good. And let's start up the Frontier. So soft touch here on the front of the door panel. And before we close the door, payload capacity here at the Frontier is 1,150 pounds. Close her up. And then you guys can see, quick look at the mirror there. And then we do have some controls here on the side, like our tow mode, for example, cargo lamp, hill descent control. That's for the outlet there as well, stability control. But here's our steering wheel, kind of a rugged design with the steering wheel. Got your volume voice command controls with it as well. And then you guys can see the gauge cluster, partially analog, partially digital. So again, you'll notice that's kind of the theme with the Frontier, is it's a little bit more old school with a lot of the setup. And then we just have a traditional backup camera here. Trajectory lines turn with the steering wheel. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, you know, easy to use. It does take a second for some of the pages to load up, but I think it responds pretty quickly. And then you got, yeah, physical buttons down below. Dual zone climate. We do have heated seats here with this, heated steering wheel. Use some USBs and then more storage right there. Some cup holders, shifter for that 9-speed automatic, wireless phone charging pad, and then good storage inside. Nice padding on the top, and then same thing with the dash, the stitching. That's pretty cool. And yeah, pretty big glove box. We do have a sunroof here with the Frontier as well. Almost forgot to mention, we do have a 2-speed transfer case here with the Frontier, which is important. And start her up with the Tacoma. You guys can see again with the door panel trim and the wood trim and all that. And then payload on the Tacoma is 1,200 pounds. It's a little bit more than the Frontier. And then with the steering wheel, this is the same exact steering wheel as what you have in the new Tundra with the design. You can see like adaptive cruise control, all of that. And then on the side here, you actually have quite a few controls. You can even lower down the tailgate, raise it up from inside. And you got like this feature for the function to turn on or off the power side steps. Full digital gauge cluster here in the center. So for the first time in a review, the Toyota is not the most outdated, the most old school, which is fascinating to me. We also have drive modes with this, which is kind of another new school thing. And then this has a 360 camera system, huge display with it. So that's another bit of tech. And then as for the infotainment system, I mean, it responds, again, it takes a second for some of the pages to load up, but relatively well. We've got dual zone climate, heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. You can see the trim on the dash for that design. The glove box is kind of funky with how it looks. And then you can see more physical buttons there. Wireless phone charging pad here, and then we've got that for some USBs. And then look at the shifter here for the 8-speed. And then you got this like grab handle off to the side. And then you got your parking brake here with our auto holds, your drive line select here, your tow haul mode, and your drive mode is built in there. And then again, 2-speed transfer case with this. And then some shortcut buttons here for like the camera system, more cup holders, center console, nice padding on the top. Camera rear view mirror, and then we do have a sunroof. And then also the rear window, and this is power, unlike the Frontier. So when it comes to pricing, this Frontier's equipped stickers about $47,000. And then this Tacoma, I don't have an exact MSRP on it because it's a pre-production unit, but the limited package starts at just over $53,000. Let's see how they drive. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, throughout the rest of the rear. And let us set off in the Frontier. It'd be interesting to see which one of these I guess drives the best. I will say the Frontier right off the bat feels more old school. You've got hydraulic steering, so the steering is heavier. And then having a V6, right, you've got that naturally aspirated torque band. Very interesting. Seats are comfortable though, this SL package. This SL package is very interesting to me. I'm still not sure why Nissan even released this package, because it's basically all the same stuff as the Pro 4X, but it's not the off-road stuff. And so I think a lot of people would rather go Pro 4X, but yeah, good torque. And again, you got that nice naturally aspirated power band, so it's got a pretty good punch to it, which I appreciate. Yeah, again, definitely has more of an old school truck feel. It has that, it's not uncomfortable, but you know, you go over bumps and everything, it's got that more kind of rigid feel that you associate with, again, older pickup trucks. Again, it's not bad. It is not bad by any means. So yeah, I guess getting to summing things up here with the Frontier. So yeah, it has a mid-size pickup truck feel. It's not going to be as, we'll see with compared to the Tacoma, but it doesn't feel as comfortable as some of the more modern pickup trucks, but I like that. I like the more rugged feel that this has, and I feel like this is a truck that you probably, you know, be able to trust. I mean, look at it. There's an older Frontier. that you'd be able to trust because of the more simplistic tech and everything with it, rather than, you know, the modern stuff. So yeah, with that being said, let's go drive that Tacoma and see how it compares to the Frontier. Let's talk about visibility in the Tacoma. There's over the hood. Hoping you can see the heads-up display, both the mirrors, dual plasma wiring throughout the rest of the rear. And first off, yes, I understand this is kind of apples to oranges comparison because pretty big price difference between both of the trucks, and you know, some difference in equipment, but still, you know, the underpinnings, right? They're comparable. Tacoma versus Frontier. I will say right off the bat, you do feel the torque difference, and we're at 4,000-ish feet elevation. And so being turbocharged, you do get kind of more out of this, right? You don't have as much power loss at higher elevation. So I wouldn't say it feels faster, but it feels like you got a little bit more punch right off the bat. But that Frontier is has such a big engine with big horsepower that it's yeah, I don't know, it feels good. It feels good. Seats in this might be a little bit softer, but they're both comfortable. I would say both seats are comfortable. And looking at the interiors of them, the Frontier interior felt tighter than this. Like this new Tacoma, and this is I need to say this again, this is a pre-production truck, so you do have to kind of take that into account, that the fit and finish is not necessarily going to be as solid as what you'll see with the full production. But yeah, I mean, this kind of has a similar feel to like the new Tundra in terms of the interior with it. So you either like that or you don't. It's got a, you know, more modern feel for a Toyota. Smooth powertrain though. Don't feel like I have to get into the throttle as much of this because of the torque. And you know, when it comes to so suspension, when you go over bumps, they both handle it about the same. This feels a little more planted. It has like a lighter feel, whereas the Frontier has a more substantial, like heavy feel to it. So both about the same in terms of comfort, just a different feel with the vehicles. Yeah, it doesn't really feel faster, just more punch right off the bat because of the torque. So with that being said, this is a shocker, right? This is like the first review ever where the Toyota is not the most old school. It's not the most outdated, right? This is the new techie thing on the block. And so I think it just depends on what you're looking for. If you want a more old school feel, more old school drive, then the Frontier is the one that actually provides that more simplistic truck. But yeah, if you want something that's a little bit newer, a little bit techier, then that's kind of what the Toyota provides. And they do feel substantially, like I said, they do feel substantially different. And so yeah, let me know if you'd go Tacoma or Frontier.